G'day, g'day, g'day.
Hello, g'day.
How are you?
I'm great. It's been a long time since we saw each
It's been
other.
like a full hour and a half or so, no? Good on you, mate.
So welcome back to, well, hopefully-
Episode 2, I guess.
Yeah, episode 2. I'm Callum Ilott. This is Marcus Armstrong.
Yes. So today, I guess we're going to speak a little bit about Formula 1.
I believe
Have
so.
you heard of Formula 1 before?
The pinnacle, right?
Is it?
Is it?
I don't think so, but elaborate, please.
It's a bit harsh. Everyone's called it the pinnacle for years.
I think firstly we should speak a bit about our racing because this weekend we've got our first race of the season, St. Pete, Tampa Bay, Florida. Good weather.
Yeah,
Looking
not
forward to it.
Be mistaken for the one in Russia. It's the one in Florida. It will be lovely and warm, roasting and sweaty,
Nice.
humid. So yeah, you'll be loving the fact that you'll be thinking that you're fitter than everyone, but everyone will still be managing the race very well, but dying at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can train my entire life, which I do.
Which you have, yeah.
I think for some reason, physically, this car suits me a little bit more than the old F2 car.
Yeah, you can try mine if you want.
No, because it's so hot. I mean, like.
Yeah, I know, but you can still try mine if you want.
And I feel like I deal well with the heat. I'm constantly cold, freezing.
Cold-hearted man.
Yeah, cold-hearted, and I'm always shivering. That's why I'm wearing this
Abomination.
lovely Saint Laurent sweatshirt right now.
It's falling apart,
And
mate.
an Indy car is the hottest thing you could ever imagine.
When you bought it, was it falling apart like this?
This is actually the style, believe it or not.
You sure?
Yeah.
Sure it wasn't a washing disaster?
No.
Are these like thumb holes? Or
So each hole is an extra £100
of weight or money?
money.
Money.
Yeah. It's called fashion, Callum.
Anyway.
I'm not gonna get any fashion advice from you, mate. You were in those same Stan Smiths since like.
Hang on.
Last
These are
October.
brand new. They were brand new. Those look like they've been run over 17 times and then put on a shelf and then charged 5 times more than these ones.
Well, yeah, they definitely were charged a lot more than
They
those
are
ones.
lovely, but who ran them over?
No, these are golden goose, mate. You can't talk shit about these. These are beautiful masterpieces. Anyway, back to IndyCar, hottest thing in the world. How would you compare it to physically driving an F2 car or an F1 car, for that matter?
Well, I think we maybe discussed this a while back, but peak load is maybe less than the F2, in those high-speed corners. But as you'll soon find out, it goes on and on and on and on. When you come out and you've done, some races, 6 pit stops, but should we say keep it to a 3? 3-stopper, 4-stopper maybe max if you've got a little bit of an issue. You come out high fuel with those alternate red tyres, soft as anything, and it's 30 degrees and humid as anything. That's when you're just praying for this race to end. It is like a third longer than it should be.
No, I know that because whenever I watch, my camera's turned off.
Well, that's one technical failure. Luckily, iLots is still going.
No, well, I know that whenever I watch an IndyCar race, like in the past, it goes on, and it seems like it's a strategic nightmare. I remember Indy road course last year when I was like...
Oh, the one with the rain?
Yeah, it seemed like a genuine strategic disaster.
Well, it was, and you also couldn't see whilst you were driving.
Yeah.
So you had no idea who was in front, where anyone was. Christian managed to crash into me over the finish line under safety car, tried to break my back. He was close
He probably
to
did it
succeeding.
on purpose.
You never know with him.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, he's done that a few times rental casting with me, so I wouldn't put it past him.
But for those who don't know, St. Pete last year,
Your
my hands
hands
fell apart.
Yeah, we'll try and throw up a photo on the screen
I'll
for you.
send it to Rory and get him to...
Yeah, we'll get it put on the screen for all you
For
folks.
those who are squeamish, I would avoid this for a second. But yeah, both hands had 3 ginormous blisters down the middle.
That's so weird. Your hands, you just got little baby girl hands because honestly, I don't get that.
Can I remind you that what you said about when you saw my onboard? That I have to hold my car.
To be fair, you are wrestling an alligator when you...
It's a quick alligator, but it's very difficult. And St. Pete last year was the first race for us with kind of the new environment that we had.
Mm.
And let's just say things were not tied down.
No.
I was 30 laps away, and I felt the skin sliding off my hand.
Ugh.
And I started crying, basically.
Well, you know that whenever you're crying, you're probably not on it in terms of pace, are you? If you're ever thinking about your physical well-being during a race,
Mate,
you're not doing your best.
I was surprisingly between maybe 5/10 to a second off, right? Which, considering my whole hand was bleeding and falling apart, that is not a bad effort. And what saved me was I had Kirkwood in front, who was fuel saving like crazy. So I was quite slow, like, and it was saving me in the high speed corners because he was fuel saving.
Fuck, that's lucky, mate. I remember Saudi Arabia last year. I was like deep in the points.
Was that arms or neck?
No, that was arms. Like
Okay.
the steering weight, mate. Honestly, I cannot describe it.
Well, it just adds up and up and up. You
No-
just keep going.
No,
right?
because I started the race and I was P2,
Yeah.
and I was like, I did the first couple of laps and I was like, oh my god, the steering is so heavy. It's gonna be a really long race because I'm on like hard tires right now and high fuel
And
load.
it's only going to get worse when you change to those softs.
And then I think I started on softs,
Oh, okay.
but
Alright.
for whatever reason there was a 0 tire deg at Saudi, and I boxed early, straight on the hards. Those first 3 laps on hards, I couldn't turn the wheel. Like, it was ridiculous. But everyone was in the same boat.
Yeah.
Like, after the race, you see everyone walking around the paddock like they were just zombies. Especially Iwaza. I don't think I've ever seen someone look so smashed in my life.
Poor guy.
That Iwaza. But after that, I mean, because I was so deep in the points, I was like, I can't not just push.
You have to.
110%.
You have no choice. It's that thing, hate it now, love it later.
Yeah.
As who said that one? You must know.
Oh, Steve Eilert?
Stevie.
Yeah, it must have been Steve.
No, he's not that motivational.
So F1 season starts as well this week.
Yeah, those fast cars.
Did you keep an eye on the testing results?
The results, yeah. I mean, we did agree that we were going to try and watch it, and I think neither of us have.
To be fair, I did actually watch it.
Okay.
Now that I've left the F1 circus, let's say,
Circus good.
I've actually become more interested in it somehow. And I watched a bit of the preseason testing. My first impression when I turned the TV on was that Ferrari still looks understeery.
I didn't see a single lap of them.
Okay.
I saw Piastri spin yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Wait, today. One of the days.
Where did he spin?
Is it turn 9 or turn 10? The tight left-hander?
He managed to spin there.
Yeah, on the initial turn under braking.
What?
Yeah. That's when you know you got like a.
He's super low. Must be like bossing like crazy on entry.
I think.
How do you spin on entry there?
The brake bars to the rear.
That is bizarre.
Anyway, he did manage to do it, and then he 360.
Well, it was one of the talking points, wasn't it? That McLaren was looking like they weren't really on the front foot.
Well, the headline I saw was that they were behind on their targets.
Behind on their targets.
Is a
That's
very
like
political way of
That is a
saying something.
politically correct way of saying, oh shit.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you play these games, but I don't see the point.
I don't
so.
think they play around with fuel as much as F2 though, right? They usually just stay at a pretty steady fuel load. Not to try and look like they're sandbagging, just to expose the
I think
weaknesses of the car.
It's consistent, like within the team, in the sense that they have the plan. From what I remember, you have the plans at different stages that they want to test things at.
Mm.
So, like, all your quali runs will be done at a certain fuel level, which will be more than you need.
Yeah.
Then you'll have some light fuel long runs. So say maybe like around 45, 50 kilos. And then you'll do the heavy fuel where actually sometimes they just do short runs, 10 lap runs.
Yeah.
The
only team I think that might not do that is Mercedes. Because they always, I mean, from the last 10 years or so, they've always looked worse in preseason testing than what they really are.
Yeah, but they did have some emergency meeting after day 2.
I think that was because of some reliability issues though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but between the drivers as well? That's not a driver concern. Like, you can't really do much as a driver.
I mean, knowing George, he'd want to be in the loop, whether it's reliability issues or whether or not the mayonnaise has enough salt in it, in the catering. So,
He's not fussy about. You're fussy about food. He's not.
yeah, but I mean,
technically I agree, but I mean, I think you're taking a bit far with the food.
Aston Martin look good.
I think they look very good. I said this last year to a couple of people, and their race pace was really strong last year for the quali card that they had. Like they were able to unlock something that they couldn't in qualifying. And considering they knew straight away that their car philosophy was not going to work last year. So I was they were going to be a dark horse if what they predicted was right. So far, the one lap pace is decent. As you can see, they're P2 or P3 on day one.
That was day one, yeah.
I think.
But they're always there, like day two,
there.
P3, and not so much on Felipe. Yeah, Felipe P10 on day 3.
Yeah, but then if you go into their longer runs, again, you never know what people are doing with fuel, right? And it does make a bit of a difference. But they're super strong from lap 3 onwards on a race run.
Yeah.
And Bahrain
it's all about tyre deck.
is all about tyres.
Yeah.
That thing is very good.
Yeah. I think Alonso is also the right wagon driver. He's going to...
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I have the feeling that he's just in his element right now. You know, he's the number one dude there. There's no question about it. He's sort of back into the rhythm of these new F1 style cars where you sort of need to drive in a different style to, his previous...
Well, it's a reset, isn't it, for everyone,
But now I feel like he's sort of in the groove and he's hitting the ground running as opposed to previous years where he was sort of chasing his tail away. But
the other thing is, I think that, again, it depends on the environment, but if you are someone like him and the environment he has, they don't take offense to anything he suggests and are able to work with what he's doing. Of course, if it's the right thing to do, you can go so far. And again, of course, these car designs are done a year in advance, so he wouldn't have had any say in any of that. But from now on, the rate of improvement is like down to the drivers and what they can suggest in all these tests.
It's going to be cool to see. Fingers crossed by the time this podcast has been released.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that one.
That Felipe has been confirmed for this weekend.
Well, it's either Felipe or I heard Vettel.
Two great options.
Two very great options. But,
I think I will cry if Felipe doesn't get chosen this weekend. He's such a good dude and he actually deserves it.
It's great. When you know everyone from F2 and it's like...
If you get the opportunity,
you just got to grab it with both hands and love it.
I think it'd almost be a bit of a kick in the face if Seb got brought back, because it's like, what's the point of having a reserve driver if you're just going to bring in last year's?
Especially if you do 2 days of testing as well.
And he was quick. I mean, he was on it. One of the days he was really quick, or maybe that was just early this morning. I don't know, but he looked good.
No, he was on it. I think it was this morning. He was like P3 or P2. I might be wrong with that, but no, he's honestly it's so important to the way things look.
He can take it to... I mean, I wouldn't expect him to be on it with Alonso straight away, but he's going to surprise people.
No, Alonso's on another level and, of course, is so used to the car as well. Of course, there's little things like the starts and the pit stops, which for sure you're not going to be at it. The biggest thing will be the tyre.
Yeah.
Managing tyre degradation.
To be fair, though, coming from F2, it's almost like...
Yeah, but it's in a different way. That's the thing. F2, you take it easy in certain places. F1, it is as precise as you can get because they can see everything.
Yeah.
F2, it's like driver feeling.
Yeah, but I feel as though in F2, you sort of have to develop a sense of sensitivity to the tyre that's like so extreme, because whatever issue you have on lap 2...
It just amplifies later on.
Lap 6, you're going to know about it. So it's almost like as soon as you feel something, you need to adjust straight away. Otherwise, the race is done. And the camera's turned off.
Right, round 2.
So, you have to either, whether it's adjusting the brake balance or changing your style or whatever.
Preempting everything.
You have to, as soon as something starts, one corner later, you need to adjust because the tyre has a memory and it just never forgets it. So I think that Felipe will have that ingrained in his brain from F2. He's not going to struggle with that.
One of the engineers, I mean, they could be right or wrong, and I would say it's a little bit of an overestimation, but for every wheel spin you have at the beginning of a race at Bahrain is 1 lap of drop off that you'll have.
That's probably true.
I would say it's at least half a lap.
Well, it depends whether or not it's thermal deg or genuine deg, because
Bahrain is normally genuine though.
Yeah, but in F2 it was mainly thermal.
Not the years I did it.
And then, of course, our very good mate Guan Yu Zhu. He was P1 on
Yep,
day 2.
Day 2. 31.6.
Didn't see that coming. That's mega. Do you reckon he gets a bonus from that? Topping the times on day 2.
The only bonus he needs is confidence.
What?
Well, no, I mean, like, that's mega.
I know.
Imagine how great you feel after that. No, I don't mean it in a bad way at all. What are you trying to say? That is a great thing to come away from a
Yeah,
test
it's cool.
with.
It's really cool.
Trying to turn me into a villain. No, like, honestly, what more do you need after one season and you go straight into testing and boom?
Quicker than Max, quicker than Alonso. He's in good company
Well,
there.
was it only him that day, or where is his teammate?
So Bottas was P12 on day 1. And he was, I can't find him, so that's not a good sign, on day 3. And I cannot find him. He mustn't have driven.
No, P3.
Oh, he's P3.
30.8.
Looks like Alfa Romeo's quick then.
Yeah, seems so.
Was that all your development work?
Yeah, years in the making. You know, I made such a difference.
Thought so.
I really don't think so.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I think my main points for this weekend will be Logan's debut.
Yes.
I mean, obviously he came from F2, good mate of mine, and it's just going to be, it's cool to see. Deserves it.
Of course.
Felipe,
Yep.
if you are racing, mate, I want you so hard down the inside of
Everyone
at turn 1.
Yep.
If you are not like hard on the anchors locking up into turn 1 on your F1 debut, I'll be disappointed.
To be honest, if you're locking up, I'd suggest do it on the outside.
He's a professional crasher, so he'll know best.
What are you on about?
But
Professional staller.
if Felipe is racing, I think he can get points on his debut because the car is good and he's obviously good. So it's going to be a talking point.
Yeah, that would be if the car is what it seems to me, and he keeps a steady race.
Yeah.
Oh la la,
It's going to be
great.
mega.
This
And
could
then,
be a new De Vries in the making.
what are you talking about?
Like in the sense that you go from one race to a full-time drive.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. He deserves it. Like, also Oscar Piastri,
Yes.
F1
Yes.
debut.
Yes. And to be fair, after all the shit he's been through,
Yeah,
and not really his fault, knowing the situation, I want him to succeed. Whether it takes a year or 2.
how do you think he's going to go off the bat next to Lando?
For me, Lando is one of the quickest drivers you can get.
Agreed.
And knowing how he was prepared for F1,
Yeah.
he nailed it. And the experience he now has in F1 in the same team for all those years, I don't think he is like what Max is to Red Bull for McLaren.
Yeah.
So as close as you can get is the best job you can do.
You've got to think the McLaren's struggling though. I
It
mean,
looks
just
like it.
looking at these results, I've always, whenever I used to look at Lando's results from junior formulas, F4, F3, F2, he was always just boom, straight on it from the get-go.
Even in testing.
Yeah, from preseason testing, he was always Bosch, straight at the top. And even if the team was sandbagging or not, he was always there.
Yep.
So him now being,
A bit further down
consistently outside the top 10 is sort of a bad sign. To be fair, day 1 he was P5, but okay.
Day 1.
Day 2 and 3 was not so good. McLaren look like they're struggling a wee bit.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in their mouth, and it can all change by the race. I mean, they can even send parts overnight between now and the race weekend, and it can turn around.
Yeah. Oh, you never know.
You never know.
But I wouldn't be putting money on him being, deep in the points.
No. And then we've got Mercedes as well, who, their emergency meeting. Honestly, I think for them, when they figure out their car, like last 2 years, they've struggled in preseason testing. It's not been the best. It's been a bit always edgy on the rear. And again, coming back to it, the same thing. But when they do put that car together, like last season, middle of the season, that thing was competitive.
Yeah.
Especially race pace. They do things solidly. They don't overdrive, make the mistakes that other teams are doing,
Yeah.
and they just take the points. And that adds up when you get to the end of the championship.
Well, that's one of my favorite things is watching a Lewis Hamilton on board. Because, if I'm ever
That
bored...
quali on board is always a good one.
The quali one?
Any Lewis lap.
To be fair, I reckon his race laps are the best. Like, if I'm bored, I'll literally just sit on F1 TV and watch his race on board. Because he's like... There's no one he's like, actually drives a lot like Scott Dixon. If you're not sideways, you're not going fast enough.
Yeah, I'd never seen him sideways.
Who? Lewis.
Yeah.
He loves it, mate. Absolutely loves it.
But the car doesn't love it.
In the race, he loves it.
Okay. In the
There's
race.
no such thing as tyre saving to Lewis, it seems, which is quite funny because he's always complaining about it, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's just, like, I'm struggling, but I'm not. But listen, think I'm struggling.
Yeah, and then finally, De Vries versus Tsunoda. What do you reckon?
Well, De Vries has been quoted as team leader, even though he hasn't driven a season in F1.
Who quoted him as team leader?
I don't know. I think Helmut ages ago.
I mean, that's a bit of a...
Well, it's either a very good thing because they have high value of you, but...
Well, of course, he's good, but he's also a rookie, right? Whereas Yuki's done, is it 2 years now?
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
2020, 2021, 22, yeah.
I think Yuki's just like the ultimate, driver's driver.
He just gets in and sends
exactly.
it. The story I heard about him was he did one of his first test in F3 was at Spa. It was raining. And they told him that Eau Rouge is flat in the wet in F3. And
Which is,
it is.
Yeah.
But after 3 runs, first lap.
That is serious commitment. No, but he was also in F2. He was like that. So on the simulator in F2, we don't have fantastic simulators like in F1. But like turn 1 at Silverstone is more or less flat in F2, and quali
You want
low
it to
fuel
be flat.
softs.
Yeah.
But on the simulator, it's flat the whole day long, whatever. And Yuki rocks up apparently, and just goes flat out through turn 1, first lap
Lap 1.
FP, and he made it.
FP.
He made it.
Ay. You don't even know what aero balance you're gonna get.
Okay, Marcus, that is 5/10 off in sector 1 to Tsunoda. It's like, oh, fuck. It's going to be a long weekend, fellas.
Yeah. Oh, la, la.
Commitment. I reckon he's...
That's true. I remember
he's
2020.
committed.
Yeah, because he was
First lap of
purple
FP.
sector 1. Yeah. Oh wow.
You never forget these things. When you're half a second
I
off...
smashed him in Maggots Beckett's though, so I made it up.
Well done.
Thank you.
But yeah, the ultimate driver's driver. The jobs do not mix. Engineer and driver, he's solidly a driver. Whereas
I haven't been in there. I don't know, but possibly.
Well, that's certainly my opinion from the outside. But Nick De Vries he's very methodical.
He's an all-rounder, isn't he?
He's a serious all-rounder. I rate him very highly. He could potentially be a team leader from the get-go just because he knows what he wants. More than anything.
and he's quite calm as well.
Very calm, methodical, fast, and
been there, done that in every form of racing possible now, I think.
Crazy, isn't it? He was like my childhood hero when I was young.
Wait, I've got his go-kart NASA panel.
Really?
The number 10 at the time from like 2010 in my basement.
I'll say the iconic
I need to get him
moments.
to sign it actually. At some point.
Iconic moments from my childhood was watching him race karts.
Yeah, but in all the different liveries he had.
Different liveries, helmets, suits, whatever. He was just like, it was glamorous, and he was winning world championships. Like,
the funny thing for me was though, like, obviously he was the hero, and I did only one race where I was like in view of him, which was Sarno World Cup 2011, and I remember seeing him cleaning, like taking all his side pods and stuff and going to clean them.
yeah,
And of course, some drivers do this. I did it for a while.
I didn't.
Marcus may not have done it. But it was like that thing where, oh, you're a world champion multiple times, and you're going to clean all your brand new stuff straight after every session, pretty much.
Yeah.
I was like, fair play. And, young, quiet, happy little kid.
Yeah.
Just keeping to himself and going and cleaning his stuff. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, I still love cleaning. So, good lad. Anyway, I think we're close to time.
Yeah.
We're at 25.
Solid second episode, I reckon.
Solid second episode. Okay.
It's always good when the time passes quickly.
It is.
All right.
Especially with you, my darling.
Thanks, fellas. Catch
Thanks,
you later.
everyone. Enjoy.